Tonight, we're following up with the state's top environmental official after President Trump posted on social media that the U.S. military came into California under emergency powers and, quote, turned the water on. State leaders say a federal pumping plant in Tracy had been shut down for maintenance, and the Trump administration was able to turn that on once the work was complete.
Federal officials have yet to say exactly what the action the president is referring to, but KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala sat down with the head of the California Natural Resources Board to find out what's going on.
So have you gotten any direct clarity from the Trump administration about what the president meant when he said that he turned the water on earlier this week?
It has been a bit of a head scratcher to understand just what they're talking about from the White House. We are ready to collaborate on whether it's wildfire or water. But I have to admit, a significant amount of confusion as it relates to messages coming from D.C.
I know some Democrats elected officials and even we continue to ask about the use of the military in those Tracy pumps to potentially turn them on. I mean, would the Army Corps of Engineers be involved in a project like that, as the White House, I think, tried to suggest earlier this week?
Important to clarify. So the Army Corps of Engineers, which is in the Department of Defense, are essentially our civil engineers, primarily focused on our flood protection system. So they operate a lot of reservoirs in California, federally owned reservoirs, for the purposes of protecting downriver communities from flood. They, however, do not control the infrastructure in the Delta that pumps or exports water. That's a separate federal agency called the Bureau of Reclamation that's not associated with our Department of Defense.
When people hear the United States military is being used to do something, some might interpret that as like the use of force to get the state to do something. And I just wonder, I mean, has the administration made any kind of threat to the state on the State Water Project, or is there any kind of negotiation happening between the Trump administration and the Newsom administration on these water issues?
Well, it's been quite a frenetic week with a lot of directives coming out of Washington, D.C., so I can say that it remains unclear for us exactly how that's being described. I can tell you that we work generally really closely with the Bureau of Reclamation. Think about that's the water supply entity for the federal government. They operate the water supply infrastructure. And then the Army Corps of Engineers, and they control the flood protection infrastructure. So week to week, throughout a winter like this winter, we're working really closely together. And so, with those partners, that work has continued. I think it remains to be seen, how these directives from on high in Washington, D.C. could impact that. But our focus remains protect people from the floods when storms come this winter and maximize water supplies for the coming dry season, all while, incorporating environmental safeguards that we care about in California.
With the federal funding freeze executive order, I know that's on hold right now because a judge blocked it, but is there anything in the natural resources space that you're flagging right now in the state that could be impacted by that executive order?
We're concerned about a lot of important infrastructure funding that is slated to come into California that could be interrupted by this funding freeze. That includes funding for Sites Reservoir, which is a proposed off-stream reservoir on the Sacramento River that Governor Newsom and legislative leaders have championed. That includes funding for the Salton Sea near the Mexican border, which is a really important environmental restoration project. Over the last several years, it's been a real state-federal partnership to modernize our infrastructure, and there are billions of dollars that are at risk toward modernizing that infrastructure if this funding freeze takes effect.
That was Ashley Zavala reporting for us today. In related news, Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order directing state agencies to capture and store as much water as possible from the storms this week.